Simon Told Helen wins a half length. Zach Manelli second.
Welcome to Greyhound Gossip.
Peaky Blinders start cheering for Tommy Shelby wins the WA Sprint Championship final.
Featuring Peter O'Neill and Leia Ernest.
Monza moves up to Mermaid Manelli. Fab's Gem 3 deep. Here comes Fab's Gem.
Hard Style Rico by 5 lengths to Simon Told Helen. Third Tommy Shelby.
This segment is dedicated to the discussion and promotion of greyhound racing.
Cindy's Oliver, Rockstar Patriot, Paul Stewart, back-to-back with Rockstar Patriot in the Galaxy.
Handsome Prince, a bolder clear. The former Tasmanian Handsome Prince has won the $1 million chase.
Lewis set in motion. Ready. Racing. King Tommy was away okay. Chloe Ant looking to get across. Chloe Ant goes to the lead. King Tommy settles handy. Across to second now is Electrified. The outside up to third and fourth. Hurricane Taylor. King Tommy's up to third. They were ahead of them by Solidified coming through in the centre. Couch Surfer a little worse in midfield. Corborn Roses is back towards the tail of the field with Hara Skipper. Off the back, Chloe Ant tackled by Electrified. King Tommy prepare for the coronation. It gets to the outside and King Tommy is surging. Into the straight they come. King Tommy takes the lead, draws clear. Oh, hail the King. King Tommy wins. Second there was Couch Surfer who rocketed home.
And what a call that was from Matt Young this morning of the Canning Show Cup. And congratulations to Chris Holmes and Linda Britton who took out the Quinella there in the Cup. And you're here on TAB Radio this morning. Greyhound Gossip. A very good morning to you, Peter O'Neill.
Leia Ernest, good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. What a win it was. And it was a very, very good call by Matt Young. Well done, Matt. But King Tommy was able to camp right on the speed. He's a very, very talented chaser and he seems to have an intelligence level above a lot of other greyhounds where he knows which way to go and which runs to take. So he was very, very impressive winning there on Saturday.
Well, Peter, actually reminds me of his dad a little bit and how Tommy used to run.
Yeah, exactly. Tommy never ever, and this is one thing that always caught my attention with Tommy Shelby, he never ever ran the quickest times, but he was just so smart and knew the runs to take. So I agree. Yeah, very good pick up that one. The two runs in the race, Electrified, I'm not sure. I'd probably want to see him one more time over the 600. Not sure whether he got the 600 metres. And Solidified didn't have a lot of luck from the inside draw. But Couch Surfer ran on well to finish in second ahead of Chloe Ant. But well done to Chris Holtz and also owner Justin Warwick. And King Tommy now has gone in excess of $125,000 in stake money plus the WA breeding bonuses. Earlier on in the night, we had the heats of the Young Stars, and there was some real rough results in a couple of the heats of the Young Stars. We started off in the opening heat, which was taken out by, just getting back on my screen here, Nanga Bubbles was able to get across from the wide draw inside scoop, checked on the first corner, put him out of contention. But Sean Kavanagh getting Nanga Bubbles through over West on Frankie in the opening heat. The second heat, David Hobby, who had a big night there on Saturday night, all about Stone at big odds, was able to upset a couple of the runners. Imperial Sash at big odds was able to get through to second. My Anarchy Boy for Adam Smithson upset and ran down Speedy Willow. And then we saw West on Booney, who won the Group 2 All-Stars at his previous start, go down to the $15 chance in Sunset Nightjar, who was able to get across from the wide draw. West on Booney got a slight check, but I thought had every possible chance to be able to get to Sunset Nightjar. And the final heat, little bit warped. So, in fact, not the final heat, the fifth heat, a little bit warped. One for David Hobby over Rare Speed, and then Bungee Man was the only favourite to actually salute in the heats. You've got the box draw and also the markets with Tab Touch.
I do. In box one, we've got Bungee Man at $3.60, who is the favourite. 2 All About Stone, $4. 3 My Anarchy Boy, $8. 4 Nanga Bubbles, $4.50. 5 Sunset Nightjar at $13. 6 Imperial Sash, $15. 7 Storm Alert, $26. And in box 8, we've got Lil Bit Warped at $5. Reserve Runners, Speedy Willow and West on Booney. Pete, you mentioned, most of the favourites being knocked out of the heats. What are your thoughts on the final field?
It's very interesting. The box draw probably is going to assist Enzo Credelli's runners in the final. So drawn well. It's currently the favourite, Bungee Man, and probably be going that way. But it was a different field than what I was expecting. I spoke on Chasing Winners on Friday morning to David Short and Jesse and said this is one of the strongest Young Stars series I've seen. Except for one, none of the favourites have got through. So it's going to make it very, very interesting and some rich prize money on offer there on Saturday night.
Yes, and we're very much looking forward to that, Pete, and plenty happening over East as well, and in particularly Melbourne. We were just talking off air that we've got at the Meadows the Top Gun, the Phoenix. We've also got the Hume Cup coming on, and our next special guest joining us is Corey Smith from the Meadows. Corey, thank you for joining us this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Leia. Good morning, Pete. I feel like I'm becoming a regular guest. We must have some exciting racing on at the moment.
You certainly do. Melbourne Cup time. All eyes are on Melbourne at the moment with the thoroughbreds at Flemington tomorrow, but it's always, and it's been in the diary for a long period of time, the Hume Cup on Melbourne Cup Eve. You always get a good crowd, the people that are visiting Victoria and Melbourne at the moment, and they'll be heading out to the Meadows tonight to see 5 very good heats of the Hume Cup.
Yeah, exactly right. We've, as you said, we've got 5 heats of the Hume Cup tonight, the Group 1 Hume Cup that is. And to be honest, I couldn't be happier with the heats that we've assembled. They're really, really strong. We see plenty of greyhounds in there coming with different form lines as we normally see when there's 600-metre heat and finals. And I'm really excited to see how tonight goes. And to be honest, I sound like a bit of a nuffy saying this, but it's as good as racing gets over the 600 tonight with some of the heats that are on offer.
And I spoke of David Hobby having a strong hand in the Young Stars, a greyhound that he bred and owns, trained by Lynn Smith, has drawn box number 1 in the first heat of the Hume Cup. And I think favourite at the moment with Tab Touch at $3 has been well supported already, so we might have another Manelli get through to a feature final.
Yeah, this is a greyhound that probably took a little while to learn its racecraft and was a little bit green in the early days, but you could always see the strength was there, and 600 metres would be right up its alley, and it's greyhound in form. I think it's only been beaten once in its last 5, and that was a second placing. So from the inside draw, Buddy Manelli looks really, really well drawn and gives you that little bit of WA flavour in the early heat.
Do you have a special on the program? We won't go through all of them. There's a few other WA greyhounds that have raced over here before. Stout, Manelli, Rip and Grace now in Victoria. But do you have a standout for tonight for our listening audience this morning?
I really do think the Hume Cup heats are really even. I do like Fast Minardi. He went 29.09 at his first crack at Sandown over the 515 there. He comes up with box number 1 in the 600-metre heat. We know how strong he is. We saw him place in a national distance final. So of the Hume Cup heats, I think he's probably the best bet for me, even though he comes up against some really, really quality greyhounds, including Zipping Orlando, who draws directly outside of him. But outside of the heats, my best bet of the night is Shimmer Current. I think you're getting around $2.20, somewhere around that mark. Race 2, number 3, I think she just finds the front and will be far too good for them. So race 2, number 3 is my best bet of the night, and then race 7, number 1, Fast Minardi, is the best of the Hume Cup heats.
Okay, big night on Saturday night with the Group 1 Hume Cup and also the Group 1 Top Gun finals. Before we get to your thoughts on the Top Guns, a little bit of chatter last week, a little bit of talk. I'm sure your phone was running hot after the panel met the previous week and the field was released there on Thursday.
I've actually had to put in a little order to Apple to get myself a new phone. It blew up that much, to be honest, Pete. So that's good. That's what the Top Gun is about. It's about promoting our greyhounds, promoting the race, and talkability is obviously a big thing that happens when you have this sort of setup. You have a panel selecting. It's quite subjective, and everyone will have an opinion on it, which is what we love, which is what we want to see. But yeah, there's certainly been a lot of talk about whether we got it right, whether we got it wrong. Last year, obviously, the panel may have got it wrong a little bit in the fact that the first reserves won both of the races, but at this stage there's no reserves into the finals, and we'll see how we go. But I just know one thing for sure, and that's going to be there's going to be unbelievable racing at the Meadows come Saturday night.
Well, Corey, that's actually what I was going to touch on. There has been a tiny bit of controversy around the selection with the Top Gun, and maybe, Pete can also give me his thoughts on this with both of you guys being on the panel. How do you deal with that once you've released who's been invited?
Look, to be honest, I'm really just comfortable with the panel process that we went through. People can say that there's bias and all that sort of stuff, but in all honesty, like, I'm obviously on the inside and I see how the whole thing is run, and I don't see any touch of bias whatsoever. So everyone on the panel gets their opportunity to speak and gets their opportunity to put forth their thoughts, and they put their kind of lists in order, and then we go back and forth, and we vote through it. There's 7 people on the panel, and that gives us the opportunity to go to a vote if we need to, and each and every year there usually is a vote that we need to go to. It's never unanimous, and that is what makes the Top Gun so great, obviously. But I have full faith in the panel of experts that we've compiled, and the way that we went through the whole process, I think, is really important, and it justifies kind of the great fields that happen each and every year. But as I said earlier, the expert panel and selecting it's subjective, and everyone's going to have their different opinions, and we may get some wrong, we might get them all right, who knows. It's always hard to tell, but everyone's going to have their opinion, and I'm certainly not going to tell people that they're wrong, but I can have my opinion as well.
Pete, do you have a similar opinion to Corey in this regard?
I think that the whole thing is everyone's talking about the Top Gun, which is what you want in greyhound racing, and you have a greyhound that's the richest ever stake-earning greyhound in the world that hasn't raced since May, so there's been some chat about, wow, she's fast, she's the first one picked, and then you've got a newcomer like Scalacci, who's an up-and-coming greyhound. Now, might not have a Group 1 next to the name, but could, well, certainly do so after Saturday night, Corey.
Yeah, exactly right. And then you've got the likes of like Wildfire and Valpolicella in the stayers as well, that in previous years, before the change in conditions, might not have been considered as high, but you see the likes of like Wildfire come up right in the market, and Scalacci right in the market as well. It probably justifies the change in conditions and the removal of some of the things that we kind of had to go on in previous years, like ranking, like age prize money, and leave it up to the expert panel. And as I said before, I have full faith in the expert panel, and I'm really comfortable with the fields that we've put out this year, and I think we're set for a cracking night of racing.
WA's won the Top Gun twice, back in 2002 with Lindale Blue, and Dinah Nolan won in 2013. And we have a runner this year, Elite Machine, the Perth Cup, and also the Brisbane Cup winner, a greyhound that was certainly well in the thoughts and conversations of those on the panel. When is the box draw today, and when can we expect the markets to be back up for the Top Gun on Saturday?
Yeah, so tonight we'll have the box draws for all three Group 1, so the Hume Cup, the Top Gun Stayers and the Top Gun Sprint after races. So we'll do after race 9, after race 10 and after race 11. So they'll all be conducted in between races on the Meadows Dogs Facebook page, and then we'll of course put the graphics up across our full suite of socials. So that's how that'll happen tonight. And yeah, I'm hoping that we'll get some bookies going up immediately after that, but being late at night, I think they might have flopped off and have the Melbourne Cup on their mind tomorrow. But we'll see, and hopefully they put them up very, very shortly afterwards. Okay, before the box draw, I know punters and tipsters hate this, or punters don't, but tipsters hate this. If we asked you for your tip before the box draw, who would it be in the Top Gun? In the Top Gun, I've got to go with Alpha Zulu, who's a greyhound in the most form at the moment. He can run those low 5-second sectionals. He could probably overcome a lot of the boxes, but as you said, the box draw is going to be really, really key. If he draws on the direct outside of Transponder, who wants off, then there might be a bit difficult for him. But yeah, Alpha Zulu is probably my pick at the moment. And what about in the stayers? Really good field that's come together. Who are you expecting to be winning, and obviously prior to the box draw again? Yeah, once again, this one's probably even more difficult in my opinion. But Palawa King is the greyhound that I think is probably the best stayer in the land at the moment, and if he can draw a nice little draw, he can lob anywhere from top 3 to last and still have his presence felt. His run, it was absolutely enormous in the national distance final here. So, Palawa King and Alpha Zulu are probably the two pre-box draw that I'm keen on, but I'm sure I'll be tipping different greyhounds once the box draw comes out. When can you switch off from this and the Top Gun? There's been a lot of work and a lot of conversations, talk about these races and the Hume Cup over the last couple of weeks, but when can you switch off and then start looking towards the Phoenix, which is just around the corner? Well, to be honest, we probably haven't. There's no opportunity to switch off from the Phoenix. As soon as it's run and won, we'll be looking towards next year. It's just the nature of the beast that is the Phoenix, and I'll be doing some work on the Phoenix as I clock off from you guys here. So there's no real switching off from it, but as soon as the Top Gun's over, it'll be everything just goes straight towards the Phoenix, all tools down for everything else, and you pick up the tools and just go straight for the Phoenix and start planning and executing everything for that, which is set to be, well, it is one of the biggest nights on the calendar, and we obviously want to make it even bigger and better each and every year.
Corey, you said you don't really get a break from the Phoenix, and before we let you go, thank you for your time. I've noticed you've got, the Green Light on podcast, and you are also starting the Phoenix flight path with different episodes in the lead up to the Phoenix. Can you quickly tell our listeners a bit about that?
Yeah, so James Vandermaat and I have decided we'll do a little bit of a podcast for the next 7 weeks leading up to the Phoenix and get a bit of chatter going through that and have a chance to speak to a lot of the key stakeholders. We recorded our first one over the weekend, and we spoke to Brooke Ennis, who obviously had Admiral Boy in it last year, has launch code in a Top Gun and potentially in a Phoenix later this year if he goes well in the Top Gun, I'd imagine. So, we'll talk to all the slot holders. We'll talk to all the connections of greyhounds that are wanting to participate in a Phoenix, and we'll just give kind of different views of how everyone kind of sees the Phoenix and promote it like that. So if anyone wants to listen, we'll be posting that on the Meadows Dogs socials and the Green Light on Premier Racing with James Vandermaat as well.
Good on you, Corey. Thanks for joining us. One trainer that's certainly very happy with your decision with the Top Gun is Jamie Marsh. He's about to join us. So good luck with the Hume Cup heats today and good luck with the finals there on Saturday.
Beautiful. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Leia.
Corey Smith joining us from the Meadows. Big night of chasing tonight on Melbourne Cup Eve with heats of the Hume Cup. And a big week for Jamie Marsh, who takes his $1 million stake earner Elite Machine across to Victoria this week to contest the Top Gun final on Saturday night. And he joins us online this morning. Jamie, good morning.
How are you, Pete?
I'm going well. Leia's with me as well. You must be really excited to, first of all, receive the invitation a couple of weeks ago and then to get the news last week that Elite Machine has made it through to what is going to be a great race on Saturday.
Yeah, rapt, mate. It's obviously it's a lovely achievement, I guess, for him as well to go over and be noticed as probably one of the best sprinters in the country for the last 12 months. So, we're rapt. We head over tomorrow morning and straight to Brett Bravo's joint for the week, and I'm sure that it's been a great achievement, and I'm sure it's going to be a good week.
In terms of your plans leading up to the Top Gun, as you mentioned, you're heading over tomorrow and staying with Brett. Are you going to have a look at the track again, or what is the plan in the lead up to the big race?
No, we just decided that he'd been around there 7 or 8 times, so probably no point in going back there again, and now he might go for a walk around or something later on in the week. But we don't plan to trial. Brett had him in Melbourne for a long stint, and I've leaned on him for a bit of advice. And we've just planned that we won't go back and trial before the Saturday.
What box draw are you hoping for later on this afternoon?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, probably the red. I think he enjoys the red. I think with him, he just needs a few strides to get going, and then he puts himself right in the race. You know, if he cops a check early doors, it's always a bit frightening. But probably the red or the pink, Pete, and just somewhere where he gets a chance to wind up and put himself in the race.
How's he feeling?
Good. Yeah, there's no complaints. There's no excuses here. He's had a good lead up. He's had a good prep, and had a little bit of time off from the All-Stars. He got battered around a bit in that race, unfortunately. But since then he's trialled well around Cannington after that. And, he feels well.
And what about you? You've travelled before with him. You won the Brisbane Cup, obviously. But you come up against, wow, she's fast. She's won $2.34 million in stake money. Jay is Jay, obviously, who won the $1.3 million in stake money. You've got the likes of Jason Thompson, Jackie Greeno. You're up against the best there on Saturday night, and your boy, he's a machine, and that's why he's called Elite Machine. But how are you feeling as a trainer?
It is what it is. I can get him the best I can get him, Pete, and everyone, if the better dog wins on the night, then the better dog wins on the night. But look, he's travelled and done it against the best in the Brisbane Cup. We beat the likes of Postman, Pat, etc., and that on that night. And look, he's proven himself, and he's got, for us and Dan, he's got nothing left to prove, and just getting there and having a good time. And no doubt, as you would know, me and Brett will probably be on the beers most of it. So it'll just be a good trip and a chance for him to once again have a crack at the best in Australia. And not that he's got anything to prove, but it would be lovely to come away with a win.
Well, you have to be in it to win it, isn't that right, Jamie? And also in the fact that the Top Gun is an invitational race, so it's just an extra notch on the belt, I suppose, for you. Speaking of, though, the Melbourne Cup is also coming up. Will you be possibly heading that way, just depending on how he goes in the Top Gun?
Yeah, we'll just take the Meadows on Saturday night from there. I have spoken to Brett with regards to him staying in Melbourne for a stint, and then, because I think it's only a week or two away, and might even have a run in the Prelude to have another look at Sandown. I mean, he did trial sensational. I think he got off a plane and pretty much trialled 29.17 first look which is going super. So he has been there. We'll just take Saturday night as it comes, and make a decision probably Sunday. And we'll be coming home Monday, but whether he stays with Brett or whether he comes home will be made over probably a can of lunch and a beer on Sunday afternoon.
Has there been any conversations from any of the slot holders in the Phoenix?
None. No, I've not heard anything. So, I mean, it's probably a tough one because he's going back through and having a look. His form at the Meadows is questionable. Like he's probably not been the best dog there, but I think he's a completely different dog now. And and just hope that he shows that on Saturday night. But no, we've had no interest whatsoever from any Phoenix slot holders.
We wish you all the best of luck on Saturday night, and I believe that if he's not successful, you could probably go into another profession anyway, the way your golf's going.
Yeah, airborne. I think me and Chili Man are in front by a couple of shots. We're about to head to Dunsborough Lakes now for the final 18, and I have been better, Pete, let me tell you. It's a bit dusty this morning, but we'll be right, and a couple of Carlton dries on the back nine, we'll be back again.
It's remarkable how these trainers actually get to see their dogs. They're on the golf course most of the time, Leia. It's just, we're in the wrong profession.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, good luck on Saturday night. Good luck with the golf as well, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Leia. Thank you very much.
Good on you. Jamie Marsh and Daniel also becoming a father last week with Samantha, so that's great news. So it'd be great for WA to win another Top Gun. Of course, I mentioned that we've won two of them in the past, and it'd be exciting to do so. And it is a great field, and that box draw coming up a little bit later on this afternoon.
Yes, and I'm hoping that as soon as the box draw comes up, Pete, markets will be available again with Tab Touch. They've only just recently removed them. I'm guessing it is because of the box draw, so hopefully markets will be up soon and you can get your bets on nice and early.
You certainly can, and don't forget tomorrow morning here on TAB Radio, we've got Greyhound racing tomorrow at Kennington, but tomorrow morning you'll be on air from 5 o'clock, bringing our listeners all of the latest news in regards to Flemington and the tipsters from around the country as well.
Yes, and of course, Ascot, big day there. We'll have Inside running on at 8 o'clock with Darren McCauley, Digby Beecham and Michael Heaton. And of course, while that is happening, they start at Flemington at 7:45, so it'll be a nice early big day here on TAB Radio.
Yeah, make sure you get your bets on nice and early. You can go into your local TAB agency this afternoon and do so.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.